Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Open Book Entrepreneur. I'm happy that we have Kevin Marshall here with us today. He's based all around the world at the moment, Kevin, please introduce yourself and your business to our audience.
Sure, Tony. Kevin Marshall, CPA. I've been a CPA for 35 years. My company's name is Boss Financial, and as Tony mentioned, I'm a digital nomad. We've been traveling mostly in the U.S. for the last almost 2 years now, and my life partner and I, so we decided about 6 months ago. We said, well, we're traveling around the U.S. Why not look internationally? And so at the moment we're in Costa Rica. And I was talking to Tony earlier. So Tony's in Berlin, Germany. I happen to be in Berlin, Costa Rica, of all places. So who knew that there was a Berlin Costa? It's a tiny town. There's literally a little store and a church. That's the extent of the town here in the mountains. But so I throughout my career, I've worked with thousands of clients, and what I love most is really helping entrepreneurs put money in their pocket. So I kind of say anybody can prepare a tax return, right? I mean, any CPA or EA or an old agent, or CA, chartered accountant, right? But there's not many accountants that really work with their clients to see how they can save money on taxes. So I can significantly reduce the tax burden, the tax liability for our clients. And we also have a couple of grant writers. We work with clients to help them get grants, government grants or foundation grants. I also wrote a book, Tax Credits Are Sexy, and I think they are. We've gotten tax credits in the tens of millions of dollars for our clients. So there's like 70 different tax credits in the United States. So I work with clients to get tax credits too. So right, and who wants to write a check to the IRS, right? I'd rather get a check from the IRS. So
Wow.
so that's what we do. That's what I do, and I love it. I just love working with entrepreneurs that have growing businesses.
Totally, yeah. And then also, in terms of your own business, what are some of the tips you can actually share with some of entrepreneurs watching us and thinking about, oh, I'm paying too much tax, so it'd be nice to save some money or get some grants, whatever. What is some of the main tips you can share with us, please?
Sure. There's a philosophy called buy, borrow, die. And I don't like the die part, but it's three things. And it was coined by a professor at UCLA back in the 90s, Professor McCaffrey. And it basically is a way that he was able to explain to his students how the wealthy, how the billionaires, the uber wealthy, the uber rich, their strategy of how to build wealth. So it's basically buy assets, first of all, right? Buy assets that are that are tax friendly, right? That are both appreciate in value, tax free, and also provide tax benefits, accelerated benefits. So like buying a rental property and taking accelerated depreciation in the first year would be an example of it. And then number two, borrow. So you can use those assets then to borrow, and then you could borrow to pay for your living expenses, or you can borrow to make more investments, right? And then die. I don't like that one. I've changed it to delay. I'd rather delay than die, right? But delay your taxes. There's tax strategies to be able to delay them, like a 1031 exchange. If a lot of people don't know about that, but when you buy a piece of real estate and you sell it, you have to pay tax on the gain, right? On the capital gains. Well, there's ways that you can defer it. So it's it's simply borrowing the tax strategy of people like Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I know they're very controversial. Those names are very controversial, but nonetheless, they're very wealthy individuals and they know how to build wealth. So basically what I've found interesting over the years, because I've been doing this for 35 years, right? And that tax avoidance or that may have a negative connotation, tax avoidance, right? Or tax deferral or a tax strategy or a tax reduction. It's really not that. It's really a wealth building strategy. So you think about it, Tony. If you add up in your head all the taxes that you've paid over all the years, right? It's hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars, right? Imagine taking that money or a portion, half of that money or all of that money, and instead of paying it to the government, take that money and invest it in yourself in assets that grow in value tax-free. So it's, if you think about that over decades of time, that money adds up. So that money can be used, instead of paying it to the government, it could be used for funding your retirement, funding your foundation, whatever the individual wants to do with it. But it's a wealth building strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's great example that you actually mentioned that this actually builds up over the years, because a lot of people are talking nowadays, oh, stop drinking coffee, and in 30 years' time, you're gonna
Oh,
become a
right.
millionaire. Yeah, yeah.
Become
But
a
then
millionaire over
also,
time, right?
yeah, but then also, if you pay less tax legally, obviously, then it's all adds up, as you mentioned. Yeah, and I was just calculating as you were talking about this how much I paid, so
Right.
exactly. So yeah, that's great. And then on top of that, like obviously this podcast is called Open Book Entrepreneur, and we talk about all the best things that are happening, and then also some of the challenges. So how do you actually what keeps you going? What motivates you when things are not going your way in your business?
Oh, that's a great question. So, one thing that definitely motivates me is my I call her my soulmate. I'm not even She's not really my girlfriend. I don't even know what to call her, but there's not a word to describe her, but we'll be together for the rest of our lives. Our relationship is just amazing. So one of the things is she happens to own a personal development company, and that's actually how we met. I was her client, and I'll have to show you my before and after picture. So yeah, it's shocking to see the transformation that I went through. But yeah, she motivates me, and the our lives to get our lives together, the love that we have for each other. So that motivates me. And I would say I just love helping clients. It brings me such joy and pleasure to be able to, there's a tax credit right now in the United States that expires in about 30 days. And it's a $32,000 tax credit. So, hey, it's not huge, but it's not small either, right? Who could use an extra $32,000, right? So, I just had a call with a client a couple of days ago, and they qualify for the $32,000. So it's like that drives me, is to be able to help somebody like that. What can you do with 32,000? You invest it, buy a car, right? I don't know, take a trip. But so yeah, that drives me as well, knowing that I can make a difference in the life of an entrepreneur.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I mean, thanks for sharing those great tips, and thanks for being inspiration to others. So, if someone wants to actually get in touch with you or connect to you, how they can do that?
I have several websites and land, but probably the best would be our main website would be bossfinancialgroup.com. So BOSS, but bossfinancialgroup.com is the best way. You could book a call with me or see, the services that we provide. That would probably be the easiest.
Wonderful. And then before we go, like, is there any question maybe that I didn't ask you that you would like to share with our audience?
So yeah, a couple of things come to mind. One would be if you're I call them a wantrepreneur. You want to be an entrepreneur. So a wantrepreneur, for you wantrepreneurs out there. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for decades. I could never be an employee again. I could never work somewhere again. But it takes a lot of, there's a lot of risk, right? It's a lot of energy and effort to start a business. I've started 6 businesses probably over the years, and yeah, do it. Just, so that would be my, for those entrepreneurs out there, just bite the bullet and do it. Even if you fail. I had one failed business. We had, I was fighting with my partners, and it was a mess. It was a nightmare. Absolute, legal problems and all kinds of problems. And, in the midst of it, it was horrific. There's a lot of tears, and, probably too much drinking, to try to deal with all the, trying to deal with all that pressure. But Tony, after having, I'm sure you've gone through this too, but I've, come through the other side, and I have to say that was the best thing that ever could have happened to me. By far, I learned more from that experience, and I grew more from that experience than my successes. So even if, anybody out there, whether it's starting your first business or just launching another, but just do it, I have no regrets, just go for it. The lessons, that the takeaways from it are wonderful. So that would be one. Oh, go ahead. You were going to say something, Tony?
No. I was going to say, yeah, that sounds amazing. And on top of that, I can definitely relate to that because I've built up few businesses that didn't really go the way I wanted, and yeah, and you definitely learn from those. You don't forget those. You may forget some like days when you celebrated a new client and new deal and these kind of things, but you don't forget failed businesses.
Right. Oh my gosh. No, not at all. Not at all. So that would I guess that would be my biggest thing, would be my biggest piece of advice, but just go for it. So you got nothing to lose, right?
Totally. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing this wisdom and your story, and also, talking about your advice as well. So, Kevin, it was great having you as guest. Thank you all for watching and listening to this episode, and see you all in the next episode. Make sure you drop us a like and subscribe if you liked it. See
All
you
right.
in the
Thanks.
next episode.
Thanks, Tony.
You're welcome. Bye bye, Kevin. Bye, everyone.
Bye.